Hey there, guys. Absolutely beautiful morning on the beach. What a lovely day. First thing I want to say in this video is that Christ is the ultimate spirit guide. Christ guides my spirit. I'm not talking about, just so people aren't confused, I'm talking about the man that history refers to as Jesus. That is the man that I'm referring to, the spiritual powerhouse that I consider to be the ultimate source of spiritual guidance. So I've said it in black and white, right at the front. No fingers crossed. I mean what I say. So just saying that first before I go into the other stuff, which may sound a little strange. But as the title of the video says, I'm here to explain why religion can't survive into the new age. I've got a few notes here. I've not thought out a huge long speech, just a few bullet points, which I will elaborate on. So, I reject religion completely. I reject all of them completely. I am not a religious person. I'm also not a morally superior person. I'm not preaching. I'm just giving you my perspective and what I feel I'm called to say and what is the right thing to say. But I'm not religious. I'm not a perfect man. I am definitely a sinner. But I have been through the fire and come out again. I am an ex-Catholic that has come back to Christ, but perhaps not in the way that you think. So, as I'll explain, I am the boy that lived. So, I think the best reference point for this is Atlantis. And, you know, I can already hear the experts say all this and that and that. I don't really care. If people don't believe in a past civilization before us, then just, one word, the pyramids. Boom, it's over. So many structures left on the earth, which clearly show us that there was a civilization beyond the one that we know, and that we have clearly been misled about our history. Simple as that, really. And I would say Atlantis mirrors where we are in history right now. As in, I believe at the end of that civilization, people were at the end. They pushed the limits of technology, they pushed the limits of morality, pushed the limits of absolutely everything. And the people thought themselves above God, especially the small g gods. And that is what caused the cataclysm, what I would call it, the fall, the ejection from the Garden of Eden. And when I say a cataclysm, I mean the civilization was utterly decimated. Only a fraction survived. Kind of like the Noah's Ark story. A civilization that was so decimated it was not able to rebuild itself. And had difficulty finding its feet back up. And I would say that in the process of finding its way back, humanity needed religion. Humanity needed the penance, and it needed the reflection of its warlike nature and its flawed nature and its rebellion against God nature and what is right. We needed that. We needed the guilt. We needed the shame. We needed a way to revisit the source of the pain in the process of clearing the the collective toxicity, the karma, the original sin of what brought the end of us, or just about the end. We needed that. It was essential, and it was useful, and it was in keeping with the nature of man. And thank you to all the loyal and devoted people that kept those religions alive, for all of us, through all the time that it's been here to heal. I think part of that process, part of religion, was to give God a personality, a male personality, often quite a stern, authoritative personality. Again, necessary. We needed some "you've been bad," but also a bit of a trap, because if the human mind can, I don't know, give God a personality, then at the same time, how can we? As I see it, God is the intelligent source of all creation, and how on earth can a human mind try and comprehend that? I think we get a speck of it, and any more would literally make our heads explode. And that speck is enough for us to know God, and also just not enough so it keeps us continually moving to find the answer. But we can't know God. That's not the human design. And I think also if we personify God, it makes it easier to follow the books, easier to accept the contradictions and the bits we find unpleasant. But we don't need it now. We don't need to personify God, and we don't need those religions now. Why? Because we've cleared enough of humanity has cleared that trauma, that pain, that karmic debt. Enough of us have done it. So we don't need religion anymore. Now, in my process of leaving the Catholic Church and trying to discover so many other things, I found so many truths. I found so much expansion. For me, that path was my path was shamanism. So I still connect and commune with the water, the air, the fire, Mother Earth. They're above me in terms of spiritual evolution. But also through shamanism, I knew beyond any shadow of a doubt that there were other spiritual entities, and I couldn't ever figure out who to trust or who to not trust. I knew sometimes who to trust, who to not trust, and that knowing's that hasn't proved wrong over time. But so many instances of so many encounters where I just haven't known for sure. Is this service to self, or is it service to others? Is this got my best interest at heart, or does it want to hurt me? But I know who does have those answers, and that is Christ. Christ was after the fall, and maybe it wasn't Atlantis, maybe we called it something else. I don't know exactly the right terms for everything. I'm not claiming that I know the exact correct history, but I'm talking about that huge cataclysm. Christ was the one who figured out how to clear his karmic debt and raise his energetic frequency and bust out of the matrix and the human resources recycling. He broke out, and it was such a powerful spear through the matrix that acts on a light for all of us. His intelligence and his spiritual power and the epicness of what he did was a map and a blueprint and a guide for all of us to escape this matrix, this what can be a hell on earth. And that is why Christ is the way. And that's why I trust him. After being mind controlled and brainwashed by the Catholic Church, after leaving, and after so many years of discovery, that's what I've come back to. That ultimately you can trust Christ to guide you. So that is why I'm saying that religion has no place in the New Age. Because it's about, now it's time to take the training wheels off. We're ready now. And we can go back to our relationship, our direct relationship with God. There is only one source of all creation. No matter who, all of you, if all of you saying, with your heart, I want to speak to the source of all creation, then you're only speaking to the source of all creation. It's not, God's above you. It doesn't need, like a combination and a pass key to recognize that you're speaking to God. God is above all of your books. And now we're at a time where it's time for some personal responsibility, some maturity, and understand that you are part of God, and it's your responsibility to care for that relationship with God. But the best intermediary, said that wrong, the best guide for that connection is Christ. But Christ is no more a child of God than you or I. We are all children of God. And also as well, you walk into a church and you see an image of Christ being brutally tortured and bled out, and then they want you to drink his blood and eat his flesh. You need to think about that. I mean, if you're giving all your energy and all your passion to this toxic image, then I would just say that becomes an egregore. He is love, and he is love for the community, love for people, and love for self. Protect others, protect self. Walk the middle path so everyone wins. I think that's all for now. I think I've said enough. I think I'll get back to the beautiful day. Cheers.